نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim rahimahumullah, they recorded a hadith narrated by Anas radiallahu anhu. Anas radiallahu anhu says that once Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was invited, a tailor invited Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and so I also accompanied him because he was serving Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wherever he used to go. So Anas radiallahu anhu was with him. So the food was brought, and it was meat with dubba, with gourd, kaddu. So I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he was searching, looking for the pieces of dubba, of gourd, in the plate. And since that time, I started liking dubba. I love it just because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved it. He was not looking for meat; he was looking for dubba and to eat it. This hadith shows us that how Sahaba Kiram immensely loved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not only in the matters of deen, meaning that in the matters that is mandatory to follow, because those who have studied usul fiqh and usul hadith, we will find that the amr, the command, is not only wujub in wujub. Al-amru lil wujub or al-amru lil istihbab. There are different types of amr, there are different types of commands in the Quran and in the hadith. So not all the command is wujub, you have to, it is mandatory to follow. Sometimes it comes for istihbab, for mustahib. So the Sahaba now, of course, lil wujub, that is mandatory to follow. But those things that are not even mandatory to follow, it is just a daily routine, something that is in daily routine, that they also follow Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in, even in those matters, because they loved his sunnah and they loved his adab, his etiquettes. Fudala bin Ubaid radiyallahu anhu, he was the governor of Misr, Fudala. And Abdullah ibn Burayda radiyallahu anhu, he traveled from Medina to Misr just to, the reason was to confirm a hadith. So Abdullah ibn Burayda, when he came to meet with the governor of Egypt, Fudala, he said that, subhanallah, imagine this hadith is saying that Abdullah ibn Burayda only came for the intention to get the knowledge of the hadith. Traveled from Medina to Mecca, Medina to Egypt. Subhanallah. So such a great reward. We come almost weekly to our masajid for halaqat, right? Everyone goes to their local masjid. They want to go and to, we travel from our houses, we come, and then we have this intention to learn about our religion, to learn more about deen. It's not only just accumulating the knowledge, but it's because I come here, I want to learn because so I can practice it in my day-to-day life. So Abdullah radiallahu anhu said that when I reached Misr and I met with Fudala, he was not in a tidy situation. He did not look as a governor. That's what he means. He did not look as a governor. He was very, very simple. He just wearing some ordinary clothes, not like the clothes of a governor. So he said that, I don't see you in good clothes. He said it to Fudala. He said Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbid us to indulge in too much luxury. It doesn't mean that his clothes were dirty, his clothes were impure. No, because who can know better than the Sahaba Kiram, the At-Tuhuru Shatrul Iman? Who can know that better? That purity is a part of Deen, if is a part of our Iman. They can know better. But he was very simple. And Abdullah ibn Burayda radiallahu anhu said that he was also barefooted. He had no shoes or chappal, sandals. He was just barefoot. And he said, you're governor of Egypt and you're also barefooted. So he said, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to command us to walk sometimes barefoot. Sometimes barefoot. So this command was not wajib. We all know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to also wear sandals. So this, because, and sometimes, when now we know this, we walk barefoot in our houses sometimes. No, we come into the masjid, we walk barefoot. We don't wear shoes inside. There are some places that we just take out the shoes and then we go in. So now we know, so we can align our intentions to follow the sunnah. That when we're in the house, we take our shoes, go. We have this intention that sometimes Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to walk barefooted. So I have this intention, you get the sunnah. No matter how many steps you're going to take, going out the rewards. We come into the masjid, we get the reward. So, so this is the love of the Sahaba who extremely loved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whether the hukum, the command was wajib, mandatory, or it was just ihsibab, it was for amr lil ibaha. To say I love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is very easy to say that. It is not only required by a Muslim to say verbally, but it is definitely required in actions. Imam Shafi rahimullah said in one of his qafiyah that لأن المحب لمن يحب مطيع. That when a person loves someone, he follows him. We say we love Allah, we follow Allah's commandments as much as we can. We love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we follow muti, we are the followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if a Sahabi saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam barefoot, he used to walk sometimes barefoot. If a Sahabi saw that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam liked certain dishes or food, they started liking it. Because لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. The best example that is given to you is it is in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now to eat gourd or dubba, it is not wajib. To walk barefoot, it is not wajib. Otherwise, all the Muslims would be walking barefooted. It is not fard or wajib. But just because they saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing it sometimes, and they just started doing that. A Sahabi saw that one of the buttons were open on the chest. And that Sahabi, for his life, he just started opening that button. It is not wajib. Very easy to claim that love, but in reality, when it comes, when our desires comes in between and it contradicts our wishes and desires, then you can see that how much we love our Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When the sunnah or the hukum and the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes, and in between our desire and our wish and my thinking and my understanding comes, then we see that are you going to put back your desires? Are you going to trample your desires, or are you going to trample the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? That at that time that you can measure and compare the love. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, none of you truly believes until he submits his desires to my commandments. So are we living a life following our desires or the desires of others? That's also the problem, right? That we live our life according to some other people, what they think that what you should do, and then we are just following that. Or we are following the society or the time of our time. Or we are following the commandments of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a question. Sahaba and Sahabiya, so many amazing stories, and I did mention some stories last Friday. I mentioned those so that to uplift our iman, and that we do something about it. We do something about in our lives. Why do we mention these? Because our iman gets more stronger. And if we are doing something wrong and then we are listening to these stories, we regret. We should have regret. That what type of a life that I am living. And if I'm living a life that goes against our Sharia or some, then I have time. I can change. So these stories that I mentioned last Friday and today is to make our iman more firm and uplift our iman. And that is why, one of the benefits that Allah mentions the stories of the prophets, of their nation, that those followers of the prophets, they were successful. And those who denied and rejected the prophets, they were unsuccessful. So how many times Allah mentions these stories? Almost it's in every surah Allah mentions it. Not once, but multiple times, and multiple prophets and the nations. Why? So when we read those stories, we learn our lesson from it. There was a Sahabiya, in Medina. Many proposals were coming towards her. She had a good status, she was beautiful. So once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with her father and said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, marry your daughter to me. So the father, he said, Subhanallah, what an honor. So he misunderstood a bit. He said, what an honor that my daughter will be as a wife of yours. He said, no, I don't want it for myself. I don't want her for myself. I want it for Julaybib. Now, when the Sahabi heard about that, because when we look into the story of Julaybib radiallahu anhu, the description that is mentioned about him, that he was not a very good-looking man. He was very poor, not a good-looking man. And the society knew Julaybib. So when the father heard this, he said, you know what? Ya Rasulullah, because he got confused. He said, okay, let me go and consult my wife. So he came home, discussed with his wife. So of course, typical, what happens, that they're not happy. And the wife said some things that she was not supposed to say for Julaybib. She was not happy. So the daughter was totally, you can say, the opposite of Julaybib. It was no match. Bazahir, apparently there was no match. So the father was about to go back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to reject the offer. Again, remember this was not a command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This was a request, a wish that if you like, you give it, otherwise it's okay, no problem. So the daughter overheard the parents talking in the house and about this, that my father is going to return to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and reject the offer. That, Ya Rasulullah, we're not satisfied. She said, are you going to reject the request of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Look at the status of that daughter, huh? Look at her thinking, how wise she was. Then she said that, hand me over to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam so he can marry me with Julaybib. And then she said that I am sure that no harm will come to me in this dunya by marrying with Julaybib, even though he's poor, he has no money, nothing. But she is saying that this match that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had made, meaning he wished and requested this match, it means that my life will be good, no problem. I don't. And the same thing, what she said, Hajar radiallahu anha said, the wife of Ibrahim alayhi salam, that when Ibrahim alayhi salam was commanded to leave your family in a barren land in Makkah, Hajar and Ismail alayhi salam, there was nothing in that land, no human being, no animal, no water, nothing. And when he's just came and left them, and then he was going back, she was asking Ibrahim alayhi salam, why are you leaving us here? There was no reply. And then she said, Allahu amaraka bihada? Did Allah command you? Because she knew that he is a prophet. Did Allah command you to do this? He said, yes. The exact same, she said, you know what, then Allah will not harm us. If Allah has commanded you to do this, Allah will protect us. So then that Sahabiya married Julaybib. Each and every sign, these Sahaba Ikram, they used to look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and even without saying anything, they used to understand him. Whether he likes this or he dislikes this, what he wants, he doesn't want. Just by looking at him, by his actions. And Julaybib radiallahu anhu, after in a near future, he went with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for a ghazwa, and after when the battle ends, they go and then they used to search for the fallen ones. And then people are asking, oh, so and so, did you find so and so? Did you find so and so? He said, no, we did not find him. They used to go and search for the bodies, all piled up after one, after another. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam 3-4 times kept on asking about Julaybib. Did you find Julaybib? Did you find Julaybib? No. And then at last they found him. Right? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so sad. And he held him. How close was the people? He hugged. Sahada minni wa ana mink. That he is from me and I'm from him. So how close was Julaybib radiallahu anhu? These people were used to just they found opportunities to follow Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Subhanallah, we came in this world, Allah has sent us for a reason, we all know as a Muslim. We were not sent to keep others happy. We were not sent to keep other people's desires happy, what they want or what I want, or whatever the society, which path the society is going. We're not here just following that society wherever they go, even if it's just against Islam. We're not here for that. And some people might say, these ulama, they just talk about these stories and this and that and the old things. This is the root cause, brothers and sisters. What is happening? ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. These fitan that are all over the world, especially where we live in, all the evil and all these things that we see and we experience. And unfortunately, our Muslim families are involved in these fitan. What is the root cause? That is why ulama are requesting to come back to Allah, to come back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's way. We have left it, we are trampling it. We neglect it. That is why we are being punished. That is what Allah says, ظَهَرَ الْفَسَادُ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. The fitna occurs in the ocean, in the land. بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِ النَّاسِ, because of the action that we have sent ahead. And then Allah says, لِيُذِيقَهُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي عَمِلُوا. It is not the full, whole punishment that Allah sends upon us. It is bars, few, that you just taste the punishment of Allah here. The rest is coming. As we bring, when we go to the restaurants, we try, what do we try? Appetizers. And then after that, the main course comes. So this is what it is, brother and sister. What we talk about, these problems that go on, there's a whole story behind it. In a family, if there's some problems going on, it doesn't happen. It's a story back behind it. You can write volumes and volumes of it. But when you see that root cause, you will find that root cause. And that root cause is that we have left the commandments of Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are looking very down, very low of these commandments of Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we look down to the ways of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we think, oh, liberalism, and we have to be moderate, modernism. Islam wasn't for back 1400 years. Islam will remain in every generation moderate. We forget about this. Whatever, every generation till the day of judgment, it will be moderate, because the Islam is for every generation, for every time to follow. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la